Well, hello, CNC brothers and sisters. It is the first
Hi, guys.
Wednesday of 2024, and Kate and I are here dedicated to you on a Wednesday night with our CNC Wednesday hangout. And Julianne and Liberty are in the background trying to stay
Hanging out
awake.
with us.
Yeah, I'm sure they're trying to stay awake. We released the Badger a couple days ago, and they have been at it for a long time.
Yeah, I'm sure they
So,
have been exceptionally busy keeping up
they,
with all of the orders.
well, Julianne just said she was here till 11 o'clock last night packaging, and Liberty just left.
Oh, God love her.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
brothers and
she has an hour drive home, doesn't she?
she has what?
Doesn't Liberty have like an hour drive home?
No, no, she just lives down the street.
Oh, okay,
Ah,
good.
yeah. Okay. Well, CNC brothers and sisters, it is the first Wednesday, and I'm Garrett with IDC Woodcraft. I still can't point to the right side. And next to me is
And
my
I'm
sister Kate.
Yep, I'm Kate Tucker with Women Who CNC. It's so nice to be with you guys all again on, like Garrett said, this first Wednesday of the new year. I know everybody's probably just like chilling at home, or maybe you've been back to work since the new year. I know we're all riding that little bit of struggle bus trying to get back into the swing of things after the new year. I don't know. How have you been? I know you've been busy because you released the Badger, so just everything else good?
Well, yeah, it's a wonderful Christmas. And then we had Ray
Yeah.
after Christmas, right? Ray Kinman
Yes.
was on last week, a woodworking guru genius. He's been carving for 46 years, and he
Yeah.
was excited he's going to join us again. We will get him back on board. One of the people I am working on right now is Andy Bird. We've
Okay.
communicated with him. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
Andy
Kate's got
Bird builds. He's got some pretty cool. He's been an up and comer. I've seen a lot more of Andy's stuff here recently than I have like when I very first started. So he's really moved his way up in the world.
Yeah, yeah, and I also want to get Ryan from Cutting It Close. I talked to him about a year ago. Ryan has a $5 million company, CNC company he's built.
Yeah, Ryan is an incredible entrepreneur. I remember like watching his story. I think I
Hmm.
don't know, it's maybe like 4 or 5 months ago. He basically just started out like with one product, and like it took like him and his whole family just like in the living room, like sorting orders and like trying to keep up with everything. And now he's like this huge entrepreneur. So I love both of those. I think would be fabulous to have on and just to share their story of success as being an entrepreneur because
Right.
as we all know, it is one day at a time, one step at a time. Just keep moving forward.
Yeah.
So,
Well, say hello to some of our friends there, Kate, and then we'll roll into whatever we're going to talk about. We'll bring Julianne out to say hello and tell how hard she's been working and what's been going on in the background here at IDC. Go ahead,
yeah.
say hi, Kate.
All right. So we have Ken Bouchard. Looks like he says, I can't believe I'm here this early. So he is our number one. And then Jack in the shop follows up with, dang it. He was almost first. So looks like Ken and Jack were our two number ones. Looks like we've got Medica, we've got Richard. Hi, Richard. Looks like Ellen's back. She is back from her fishing trip up north. She had a fabulous time up there.
Welcome
Looks like
back,
we've got,
Ellen.
yeah, we've got Keith, Ralph, Tom and Julie, Frank. Brian is back. Chris, Happy New Year. He says, Happy New Year to all of you woodchucks.
Well, you woodchuck.
I love that. Chris is from Australia, so looks like we've got Mike from Texas, Dennis from Arizona. We've got Raven. Welcome back, Kelly. I mean, my gosh, you guys, you are awesome. You're just showing up every week. We are so thankful to have all of you here each and every week. Um, just to let you guys know, I am struggling a little bit, so I may not seem like my general, like, jovial self. I've kind of got like my throat is really raw. My adult children are home for the Christmas, and they just left here about a couple days ago, and they brought their sickness with them from the airport. So I am struggling. So I apologize if you hear me coughing and hacking. I will do my very best not to. But as the normal show goes on, I do want to make sure that you guys know, for anybody is new, welcome to the Wednesday night CNC Live Hangout. We do try to cut all of our questions off at 9 p.m. because we have so many questions that come in. Always great questions. If we have the additional time, we will always do our very best to answer as many as we can. But that 9 p.m. cutoff mark is there, and Julian kind of monitors that for us to make sure that we can get everybody that has asked the questions up front. We can make sure and tackle all of those. So, all right, Garrett, do you want to share some of your good stuff that's going on over there at IDC?
Yeah, so we just released a brand new product that many creators have asked for. Most of you know about the hog and the beast, and many people are asking me, well, am I going to come out with a 1/8 hog or beast? And we did. Came out with a badger. And so kind of doing it differently, that if you order the badger within the first 4 days, which we're still in that window, 50 free design files are going to be downloaded with that. So it's a prime time to get it. So first, I want to show everyone something. We're just kind of chewing the fat this time as we open up the year and talk about some things we're going to be doing and help you move along and make this a really good CNC year. So first, I want to bring up a picture. Julianne's going to like this one, and so is Liberty, because it's a picture of them and what they were doing today. If I can find the picture, because I know I got it pulled up. Here we go. And this is the life they've been living for the last 2 days. That is just about a fifth or sixth of the packaging that they have been doing. Every one of these envelopes here is written, has a note written on it. Right.
With the M&Ms.
Where's the evidence? You can see it.
No, I said where M&Ms. Well, yes.
Look behind them. You see a little stack of.
Yeah, I see it now.
Let's zoom in. See M&Ms. Look at these two awesome girls, man. Just doing that stuff. They've been a blessing for me and help you. And it's great to have a team that embraces the same thing. So Juliette, I'm going to bring you out. You can tell us all about what you've been up to, what life is like for you right now.
Oh my gosh. Well, let's just say the new year.
You're going to speak on Liberty's behalf too.
Yes. The new year has buried us in badgers. Yeah, dropped it at noon on New Year's Day. It was, oh my gosh, I was sitting at home. I was watching the numbers just count up as everybody's submitting their carts and purchases. It's just, oh boy. We get in into the shop on Tuesday. We had, I believe it was 837 or 847 orders. We are still working our way through those. I think when I left yesterday, we were at 450. Now I think we've got it down to 300 something left. We are definitely working our way through them. Each of the envelopes gets a handwritten note on it. We throw in those M&Ms, pins, stickers, you name it. So many first-time customers too. It's been fantastic. Names we don't recognize. A lot of your all's names that we do recognize. But yeah, we're just working our way through as best we can. Liberty and I toiling the long hours, but we love it. We absolutely love it.
Right.
It's like you guys are the reason why we do it.
Yeah, they're always cutting. When I go up there in the office, they're just talking up a storm, packing away. It's so much fun. And I had to buy dinner for these guys today.
Oh, nice.
keep us
right.
fed and caffeinated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, right. All right. Well, there you go. And our inventory on Badgers is getting quite low. So
Yes.
you got another day left if you haven't gotten one to get on it to get the design files as well, and then that offer ends if the stock is still there. So I've linked it right down below, right in the comment. The very first comment is a Badger link. So
Okay.
if you want to get yours, go ahead and grab it. And thank you, Julianne, and
Yeah.
Liberty, who's out there commenting as well. So, okay, we'll put you back
Awesome.
in the back seat there,
Right.
Julianne. And Julianne is going to make sure everybody keeps straight. IDC Woodcraft has a zero tolerance policy, and she is
Mhm.
one that holds to it. So,
Yep.
all
I'll
right,
cut you off.
Yep.
all right. The boss
Well,
has spoken.
yes. Thank you, Julianne, for all of those awesome updates. It's so good to hear what's kind of going on in the background in the shop, just like in shop life, because I feel like so many people don't understand like what goes into the day-to-day, like working till 11 o'clock, like sitting on the floor in the shop, stuffing envelopes, like making sure our people are getting their products. I remember the Christmas season hustle for me was maddening, and I had even cut off some of my orders back like October, like right around Halloween. I cut off my orders, and my mother-in-law was telling me, she's like, see, I told you got to cut it off earlier in the year. I'm like, I'm not going to cut my orders off any earlier in the year because it is just insane. But I love what I do, and I hate to say no, as Garrett knows all too well. No is not one of my strong words when it comes to telling people, no, I don't want to take on your project, because that is like where my heart is. I love to create. I love to share. Um, and so I'm a sucker, especially around that time of the season, because I know
Yeah,
what it's like to try
yeah,
and get those really cool, unique gifts for the people that you love. So yeah, it's just awesome to see that, to share that side of the business, because not everybody gets to see the hustle and the grind and the late hours, because you are hustling and the hours do get long, and you're not going to be out in your shop. Hey, it's like 2 in the morning and I'm out here like hustling away. No, you're out there like grinding, like trying to get things done. So it's nice to see that.
yeah.
But
And yeah, we can talk a little bit about business tonight. I actually wanted to do that a bit to make that a
yeah,
topic, but it looks like some of the questions are not quite business oriented. But I do want to say a couple things just on the note of what you just said. I was
yeah,
talking to my mentor, and as we grow in our business, we people like to say we hit glass ceilings. I don't use glass ceiling because that's something hard. All right, I just say I'm in a fog at the moment. But when you go when you're going to the next level, it seems very overwhelming, and you can't go to the next level because what got you to the level that you're at is exactly what stops you from going to the next level. And that's when the words no have to come in play a lot more, and that's where yeah, but we'll just leave it at that. So Kate, the word no is going to have to be bigger in your dictionary.
I know. It's so funny. We were talking about this, and y'all, thank you for just hanging out with us and listening to us kind of chew the fat about this CNC business, because so many of you are on here not only for how to, get your CNC questions answered, but also because of the business side of this. But I've actually gone through that slump. I went through that about mid-year, and I just like was telling Garrett, I'm like, I do not know what direction I need to go. And I've really kind of done some soul searching, and I really encourage all of you, if you haven't made a list of goals you want to do for the new year, I encourage you to take the time and do that. Write those down, put them like somewhere where you can really visually see them. I've actually got some like Word documents. I'm going to put them up here. I'm going to hold myself accountable every day when I come out here and look at them and make sure they're in my face, to make sure that I'm meeting those goals and I'm meeting I'm driving my own success, because the tough thing about being an entrepreneur is it's not just like it's just you. You know, unless you have a mentor or somebody that's like pushing you to do better and to be better, it's just you. So you have to do this for your future self. You have to keep working and putting that foot in front of one another. And for me, Garrett and I have talked about this in depth quite a bit, is me letting go of my like Rise and Shine business and really focusing on the women who CNC, because that's where my heart is. I mean, I love teaching and I love being a part of the women. I love being a part of this community and being here on Wednesday nights and showing up. But as he so eloquently put it, I'm like dividing myself in half as far as my business responsibilities, because I'm still trying to fulfill my Rise and Shine orders, and I'm also trying to do my women who CNC and make that grow, make that successful. And cutting myself in half it's not really doable anymore, because I've now gotten to the point where there's so many women, so many emails, so many Vectric one-on-one sessions. I just can't do all the things that I want to do. So I'm going to be incorporating projects and more teaching from the women who CNC side of things. Of course, I'll still be here for, the men as well, but it'll just be, you'll see a lot of growth from me this year coming, from teaching projects, epoxy, all the cool things coming down the pike this year, because I really feel like I'm very big into my faith. I really feel like that's where God's leading me, and with the direction of Garrett and my mentorship, it's I feel like there's good things in store for me. So I'm really excited for the new year. So
Yeah.
I know you're real big on goals too. You've always taught me that.
Every single day I write my goals down, every day.
Mm-hmm.
Right. The reason I do that is because you do it, your subconscious is at work, but your goals are not, I will have. Your goal should always be, I am, I have, as if it's in the present tense. That's what
Okay.
then you're tricking your mind going, well, why am I not here? And it starts to find ways to get there. So when I have a financial objective, and speaking of financial objective, I need to write my check to St. Jude. I'm going to send $8,000 to them for Q4. That will make $30,000. I will have gone $2,000 over my goal, which was $28,000 for this year.
That is fantastic. I saw you did a quick live. I wasn't able to catch all of it, but I saw that you had done a live with Isabel, your niece, who you had brought her in. So tell us a little bit about that for those who maybe didn't catch that.
Okay. So on New Year's Eve, I did a live with my niece, Isabel, and she's 21. And when she was 6, she had brain cancer, an aggressive brain cancer. And I learned a couple things from her then. I thought St. Jude had actually did the surgery, but they were the ones that kept her. She qualified for research because there weren't any other things. All they could do is cut out the piece of brain, right, that was infected. It was a long trial. But Isabel was very surprised. She said she never considered herself different, even though she doesn't have use of her right hand because of the surgery, and her whole right side is compromised. And so she is the reason that I do that I donate, because I saw what not only my niece, but what her family went through, and us as extended families, and what St. Jude does, right? People don't have any expense. They put the families down there, right? And they supply them with food and meals while they're there. So it's like incredible.
It's just a full immersive experience for St. Jude. I just wanted, like, those who don't know Isabel's story and why you contribute to St. Jude, I feel like it's good for people to understand the why behind that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I've lost my wife to cancer. I lost my best friend to cancer. And there's a couple other people. Most people don't know this. My wife's sister died a month before Barbara died of cancer.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Well,
anyway,
that is it's a gnarly disease. And many of you know I had breast cancer back in 2020, and it was a lonely road in 2020 because everything was locked down and you couldn't go in, you couldn't be with anybody, nobody was there for you. It kind of sucked. But yeah, it's it's not fun, but when you have your support team, it's 100% there. So anyway, are you ready? Oh, go ahead. What were you going to say?
Yeah, I just wanted to bring this out where Keith said, your niece is the beast.
Aw,
That was so
I love
cool.
that.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
it's some questions. I do have one more thing I want to share. I
Yeah.
put a survey out a while ago, not so long ago. Uh, I wanted to see if people were interested in a course that will teach you about CNC business, how to start a business, right? And to understand the foundations to build a business. And many people have said yes. And I did a survey, and I've been looking at that survey, and I have, based on that, I am going to put together that course, right? When we don't know, we don't know. We need mentorship, we need guidance, we need the right stuff, and so I'm going to start putting that together. That is my objective for this quarter, to get that put together, so everybody
Very
in the
cool.
CNC space can understand how to go after and build a business.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. Well, let's, are you ready to dive into some questions before they get too
So
stacked up on us?
let's hammer them. Let's hammer them.
All
Thank
right,
you
let's
for
do it.
listening to us talk. We're just kind of catching up after the holidays and getting in
Yeah.
gear.
Yeah, it's been a minute. All right, so Medika says, can you explain about when to use the bed for Z and when to use material for Z heights? Yes, this is a great question. Garrett, do you want to take this or would you like for me to?
Well, I can take it if you want. Um, so I actually answered it last time.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So,
So go ahead.
all right, sure. So when you are using the material surface, you are primarily, you can do pocketing. Obviously, you can do anything and everything when you go off of your Z heights off of your material. A lot of people like to go off of the bed surface, the spoil board, when you're doing profiling, but you're cutting all the way through the material. Basically, I personally don't practice this method, so it's just primarily what I've read and what I've understood is that when you're going off of the spoil board and you're cutting all the way through level through the material, you don't really make any marks in your spoil board. Um, I tell new beginners that's probably not the best way to go about doing that. I like to use under the edit passes and to set the last pass and then maybe do like, um, you know, maybe like 2,000ths of an extra pass or something like that, or 2/10ths of a pass to go a little bit further down to cut through. Just because not every spoil board is going to always be really pretty. Like mine is a train wreck most of the time. And it's because I do a ton of cutting out. And so I don't feel like it makes a huge difference for me, but that is basically the the difference between the two, the explanation. So cutting through and material surface, or I'm sorry, spoil board is when you're cutting all the way through. It doesn't leave as many marks on your spoil board. And then when you're using the Z height off of the actual material, um, so like let's say the material thickness is 0.75 and you put 0.75, you may have a little bit of an onion skin, like a really thin piece of material. So sometimes I'll do like 0.75 2, so it'll just be a little bit more and then it'll cut all the way through. That's what I have understood from going off of the material.
Yeah. Yeah. Boy, Kate, your voice does sound really crackly. I almost felt
I'm so
guilty for
sorry.
throwing that one at you.
No,
Yeah.
it's all right.
Yeah, yeah. Basically, just to reiterate, the way I would say it, what Kate said is, if you're going to just do carving on the top, use your material surface. Uh, if you know the exact thickness of your material, then you can always go off the material surface. But like she said, if you want to ensure that you're not going to cut into your spoil board, like if you have a metal spoil board, which isn't so much a metal spoil board at that point, then you want to go off the bed of the machine. The bed does make it easier for cutting out.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so up next is Richard. He says, how do I find my XY again on the project I was working on the day before? My CNC was shut off for the night. Project was still clamped down, but did not return to XY. Thanks for a great show.
Oh, I hate it when that happens.
Yeah, so Richard, typically you don't want to shut your machine off if you are in the middle of a project or middle of a carve. In my experience, if I'm in the middle of like a 3D carve or something like that, I just hit pause and then I turn off whether it's your router or your spindle, your vac, everything, and then just leave everything as it is. And then in the morning, come back, turn your router on, turn your spindle on, dust collection, and then hit, basically resume, go, whatever your go button is, and go from there. If you turn off your machine, you're going to lose your XY origin. You're
Yeah.
either going to have to rehome or, re-Z. Then it gets to be a little dicey unless you're working with, unless your machine maybe has the capability. I don't know if the long mill does. You can actually select the exact line of G code of where you were, but you still have the matter of setting the Z. Like you've shut the machine off. It's like everything's basically ground zero. Like you got to start over.
But this happens on rare occasion that the XY will get lost. Either power goes out or something to that effect. Maybe a machine binds or what have you. So what I do is I can usually best guess the reference corner. The best way I'll do it is if you still have a corner. If you did it off the corner, then I will come in and bring my router bit to the side of it and just slowly nudge it in, and I'm manually just turning the router spindle back and forth until it stops turning. Then I know it touched. Now, if I'm using a 1/4 inch bit, then I'll raise it up. I will move over 1/8 of an inch and zero out that axis. Then I'll do it on the other axis. So that's one way you can do that. I had a situation once where I was doing a 3D carve. It was a book that I did, and I had lost that corner. But what I did was I didn't lose all the corners, all the edges. So I took it all the way over. Let's just use this block. I just say this was my lower left corner that I had set on, but it was all carved away. But I still had an edge up here, and I still had an edge up here, but everything on the bottom was gone. So I had to, I knew the size of the material. So I came up here with the router bit, touched up here, took the difference of the router bit plus the width of the material, moved the tool over that far and zeroed it out. And that's how I recovered my X and Y.
It is the craziest thing, the things we come up with to do things. To bring this point to light, I had a kind of a wild moment. I was carving a big sign, and it was a circular sign. And of course, you had carved out the middle of the sign, and I was like, I still had the edges, and I was like, crap, I lost my Z. How am I going to do this? So what I did is I got super creative, and I took a piece of painter's tape, and I ran it all the way across, and I made sure it was really tight, and then I brought my Z down to the middle. And then I made, it was just barely touching the tip of the painter's tape. I made sure that tape was really taut. And I'm like, okay, we're good. So then once I got it re-Z to that particular height, I just pulled off the tape and was like.
Right. It's so nice when you can recover from that impending disaster. The long mill, you can buy the long mill with homing switches. That's an add-on, the homing switches, because if you're just starting out, you don't really need a homing sequence.
All right. So up next, we've got Keith. He says, a question for Garrett. Will you be updating the long mill with the super long board? Thank you.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, I've been talking. I talk to them every 2 weeks, and they've told me about some of the added features. The super long board is like the challenger to the Masso controller. Only it's going to cost a lot less.
Very nice. I'm excited. That's one of my goals for this year is to update to the Elite Masso. I just look at those. I'm just like, yes, I must have one of those.
So for those of you who don't understand what I'm talking about here is most of the benchtop units that we get, they have basically a basic control system to it, and they at an industrial level, if you compare them to industrial level machines, they have very limited functionality. Well, the super longboard is going to incorporate a lot of that industrial functionality. It's going to, right now, the longboard, the current one, has room for 4 servos, right? So your 2 Ys and your X and your Z. This is going to have a 5th one for your rotary. Which, by the way, I've just ordered a rotary from Long Mill, and I've ordered another Long Mill.
Oh Lord,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to like move some space, like.
Well, I'm gonna. Everything's gonna be sitting on a tilt tables these days. I
Oh
need room.
gosh.
I need to
Yeah.
put the Phantom up on a tilt.
Oh my gosh. Or you just need to like mount them on the wall. Like the
Yeah.
Onefinity can actually be like mounted on the wall, and it's
Oh,
just like the wildest thing.
Yep, Long Mill can be mounted on the wall.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. I mean, some of the things that you do, just like the concept of it, I'm just like, that's
Right.
pretty badass, but I don't know that I would want to do that.
Right. Hey, I've seen a couple comments coming in from Facebook. So those who are
Yeah.
watching on Facebook, it's best to come over to YouTube, where you can see there's most of the dialogue is happening on YouTube, either the IDC Woodcraft YouTube channel or Rise and Shine Wood Signs, Kate's channel. We're streaming on both of those channels as well. So you'll get much more engagement on that end.
There it is. All right, so up next we have Mr. Kelly. I have VCarve Pro and an Infinity, or I'm thinking meant to say Onefinity Woodworker, as well as the Journeyman. I seem to struggle with inlays, breaking off points on the tip of triangles of the project using walnut and ash. I will let you take this one.
So that's always a tricky one. And by the way, just on this note, Kate does one-on-one with Vectric. So she if you're struggling, you can schedule some time with her. You can go to the IDC Woodcraft website to the Learning Center, and you'll see a tab for one-on-ones. Schedule some time with her. Or you can email her directly at womenwhocnc@gmail.com. Okay, so you're breaking off the tips of the triangle. So this can be a bit challenging because a lot of it is due to the grain of the wood or the looseness of the grain of the wood. And the best thing I can suggest that you do, if you know that you are going to create sharp corners, the first, there's two ways around this. Number one is, rather than do a straight cut into that sharp corner where there's virtually no support, especially the deeper you get, you can do a V-carve into it. And that V-carve will offer a lot more support. I don't have a project here. It's in the other room where we do that. The other thing you can do is take painter's tape and apply painter's tape all the way across the top of your project, and then carve through that. Then you'll have to gently peel away around those corners. But that's one of the things you can do. The painter's tape at least will offer some support. A third way is to take some of that Luan with that thin ply that you get from Lowe's or something, if it's not too big of a project, and then clamp that down, and that will act as a vertical support. But I would go with the painter's tape as just one technique. And anyone else here that has some ideas, please throw them into the comments. And I've seen several comments that keep coming in. Happy New Year, like from Cherokee Vapor to you and I. So Happy New Year back.
Well, thank you, Cherokee Vapor.
Yep.
Very nice. All right, let's see what else we've got here. So Miss Carolyn, she is saying, do you surface your project material every time? Well, Peach, this is it's kind of, Garrett, but like, it's kind of one of those like 50-50 things. I don't say every time. If I'm V-carving, 100%. I always surface my projects because I want my V-carving depths to look the way that they're supposed to look, especially if you're doing any type of signs, things like that. If you're doing pocketing, profiling,
right.
Not generally. Not generally. It really just depends on the project that you're doing, the type of material that you're using. MDF, I don't typically surface. I mean, you really kind of like have to figure out what your, like, what's the end game? Does the project need to be surfaced in order to have a really clean finished product at the end? At the end of, at the end of the day, like what is that gonna, is it gonna be significant to your project and the success of your project? So like if you're cutting out like a baby's name or something for like a big nursery room and you're using, let's say, like 1/2 inch pine or 1/4 inch pine, no, I wouldn't do that. Now if something obviously has, any type of a bow in it or something like that, yeah. I mean, it's just, I mean, I feel like this is kind of a loaded question. Everybody, it's really on personal preference. It depends on, like I said, the project, and is it really going to be relevant to the outcome of the final project is what you kind of have
Yeah.
to ask yourself.
Yeah. So here's a situation. I got my phone, and I'm going to bring that in. Julianne, bring my phone in. There we go. So right now I've got this project right here. I'm going to shoot a video tomorrow using the roundover bit right there. I've had many people ask me about the roundover bit, right, and how to do it. So I'm finally going to do a video on that. Go ahead and maximize my screen, Julian. So this board here, I'm going to be doing the roundover bit, and if it's not flat, then the roundover bit is going to leave an edge in one part of it and be a nice clean cut in another part of it. So that's okay. And this board, when I put it down, I was like, oh, it was so warped. Check your board, see if it's warped. If it's warped, then go ahead and I would say surface it. If in doubt, lean towards surfacing. Would that be a fair statement, Kate?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And this
Absolutely.
is yeah, there's the sticker you'll get when you get your badger.
Sweet.
Isn't that badass? The girls had so much fun designing that. And
Yeah, I think it looks awesome.
Julianne was worked on that. The little card that comes with it. See all the badgers hanging on to the bit.
I love it. I love it.
And if you've never gotten something from IDC Woodcraft before, you're going to get the proper holding of CNC router bit sticker that tells you what you should not be doing when you chuck your CNC bits up.
Yes, absolutely. That is so critical these days with so many people coming like into the space, into the CNC space. It's really important to understand how to check your bits because Lord have mercy, I've seen some people break some bits and I'm just like, that could have so been prevented.
Yeah, well,
I hate that for them because it's just,
yeah, being a router bit supply company, right? That one of the things I see is bit breaks for the wrong reasons, right? And I know that people just don't understand that they're doing something wrong. And I know the quality's good. I've been through all the bits, right? And I tested them all. And
yeah.
So when I'm seeing broken bits, I know that there's not enough information going out. And I've got the 90-day guarantee. You break your bit, there's no questions asked. We'll replace the bit. No router bit company does that. But the point of the matter is it's my duty as a CNC router bit company to give you as much information as possible on how to work with them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I gotta say this it peed me off when I got into CNC routing and I was trying to find where's a good set of router bits. What do I need to start with? What are the feeds and speeds? And how do I use them? So at that point, I said once I understood it and I took my machining experience, my CNC machining experience, so I'm going to solve this problem. This is ridiculous. Right, it's the same questions that come up over and over. And that is what started IDC Woodcraft. Right now, we have the ultimate starter set, and the feeds and speeds. You can download the databases for Vectric, Carveco, Fusion 360, Carbide Create from the IDC Woodcraft website. Right, it has everything populated in it.
And that's such a testament because I remember when I was first starting out, I was so excited, just to have my machine B, I had, purchased Vectric. We're making all these investments into our knowledge, the equipment, and then I was like all pumped. I like went out to Home Depot and Lowe's and Menards and like Harbor Freight. I mean, you name it, I was there. All the places that sold any types of tools, and I'm looking for all these router bits, and I'm looking like everything has bearings on it. I'm like, I can't use these. And like the type of bits, like some of them were like 1/2 inch shank. It was just really hard to find. Like you couldn't find like a 60-degree or a 90-degree or a 30-degree V bit. Like the only place to really buy them was on Amazon. Like I wanted to put my hands on a bit. And so I was just super frustrated at the end of the day, and maybe probably a couple $100 shy in bits that are probably still sitting in their cases in my toolbox.
Mm-hmm.
And I came home and I just Googled, I was like, starter kit for CNC routers. And like your name came up, and I like probably stalked your website for at least a good couple of weeks, like reading every single thing. I was like, okay, he's got this, like, what do I need? Because like this stuff, this area, this space that we're in is not a cheap space, because you've got to have your dust boot, then you've got to have the hose, and you've got to have the clamps, and you've got to do T-tracks, and then you've got to buy stuff for your spoil board, and then you've got the like actual machine you've invested, and you're just like, and now you've got PPE, and then like to actually make a project, you need XYZ. You need all these things to get started. And so it adds up very quickly, and you get really overwhelmed. So finding your website for me was like a huge relief, because I was like, oh, okay. So back before you even had the app, or back before you even had the tool database, you actually did have a book of all the feeds and speeds.
Yeah.
Actually, hang on one second. I have to show you this.
Okay. Well, in the meantime, Rich said he doesn't surface anything if it's a 3D carve, and that makes sense. And also, our brother Dan, he said, don't forget to hit the like button, folks. We only have 15 likes out of right now 231 viewers. There's a little thumbs up button just below here.
Yeah.
That you can push and say, okay, we enjoy these Wednesday evenings. We learn something. Sometimes Kate and I sometimes maybe chew the fat a little bit longer than we need to, but that's what we do.
Well,
we have
that's
19.
okay.
We have 19 questions. Oh
Well,
yeah.
I wanted to show you this. So y'all, this is what it looked like before all of the fancy stuff that you guys have the privilege of having now. Mine it looked like this. So this is what he put out even before, like back in the, like I say back in the day here, a couple of years ago. This is what we had to run off of, and we put all this information into. I had to put all that information manually. But look, this is how much of a total nerd I am. Like I kept all of this stuff, like everything. I told y'all I'm an organized, note-taking
that's
crazy
one heck.
person.
Yeah, that's one heck of a throwback for me.
I know. I'm telling y'all. But
Right.
that made all the difference in the world for me. So don't take advantage of those resources. Like use
They're
them
free.
to the fullest extent.
Yeah, they're free. For those of
Yeah.
you who are brand new, this is the starter set right there. It's got everything you need to start. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Agreed. All right. Let's tackle some questions.
Yeah, let's hit it.
All right. Benny in Mississippi. About 12 days ago, Garrett showed us using Oramask and made a sign for Julianne using a clamp to hold. Where can I obtain this clamp?
That clamp is not in production. Well, you may want to get hold of Jack in the shop. So I know I talked to him about it. I sent one to him. I am working on to get that formalized, because it's going to be a dynamite clamp. Let me show you. It's a little wedge. Uh-oh. It's a little wedge style clamp right there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and you just
Yeah,
drive
very snazzy.
you drive the screw in, and it just it pushes the material down and in against the stop. And they're
Very
so
nice.
quick because they drop in holes in the spoil board. Just put it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just holds it right in there.
Okay, so Jack said he has some on his Etsy store. So Jack, why don't you get a link and put it in the comments, and Julianne will get that, and she will put that in the description of this video as well. So
There
get
it
a link
is.
to your Etsy store, and there you go. They are killer clams. I'm telling you. I'm going to stock these things. Period.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go snag
They're
some off of the shop.
so fast. So yeah, I've been working with Jack on that one. We've been working on it for a while, on and off, because I've been busy in some other things.
Yeah.
But I told him when I was doing that video, I says, I know people are going to ask about that. And sure enough, the questions just kept coming. I said, okay, we got to do something about this.
I know it. All right. So Benny wanted to share the sentiment. He said, thanks, Garrett, for the video you did with your niece talking about St. Jude. God bless you and her.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was really nice to see that side of why you do what you do. I love that. I feel like it's so important.
Yeah. My goal this year is $50,000 donation.
All right, folks, you heard it.
I'm giving a car away, right? Essentially. Speaking of giveaways, Julianne, should I say something? She's going, I don't know.
Like,
yeah.
That's what she's doing.
Let's see, for those who remember, what is the CNC router that I started off with on this channel? Let's just see in the comments, and we'll come back to that one.
All right.
Okay, next question.
All right, next question, Steve. Hi, folks. I want to reproduce a carving in a two-sided project. I heard Ray Kidman mention a 3D scanning, and someone else mentioned a touch probe to produce a CAD drawing. Can you elaborate on these?
Let me read this question again. How we reproduce a carving in a two-sided project. Heard Ray mention 3D scanning, and someone else mentioned touch probe to reproduce a CAD drawing. Can you? I cannot. So what I can say is there's a 3D scanner, right? You take a 3D scanner and you can scan the model or an image like this cup. By the way, I got this in the mail from Eddie.
Nice.
Put my name on the back.
Oh.
Yeah. But you can scan an object, and then from that scan, you can create the STL file, and then put it in. So, but the touch probe to produce, a touch probe doesn't produce a CAD drawing. A touch probe is a metal block like this right here. So that part, basically, you can do a 3D scan of something, and then you can take that scan, have it convert it, format it into an STL, and then you can import it, and then you can segment it.
All right. Well, if anybody else has maybe can help Steve out here, drop him some comments. He's over on the YouTube side, so help brother out if you can help him with this question.
Right.
I'm kind of in the dark on this, so I don't want to.
Yeah,
even
I've never messed with a 3D scanner. So, but I know 3D scanners are pretty inexpensive these days. So, hey, Kate, we got a Jerry Carp has once again on his regular routine every week has contributed to us for being here, and thank you for your time and true desire to help others succeed. And thank you, Jerry, for recognizing that is what our mission is, both Kate and mine. Yes. Is to help you succeed. And the way he just contributed in the IDC Woodcraft channel, just below the video, there's like a little money sign, I think, where you can a super sticker or something like that. You can donate a little bit to say thank you.
Yeah, very generous. Thank you, Jerry, very much. We very much appreciate that. Oh, speaking of individuals, I got a very lovely email from Mark Lindsay. He gave me a beautiful, wrote up a very beautiful email, and I say beautiful, just the way that he worded it was so incredible, just raving about the women who CNC and just all of the women in the community, because as you all know, Mark has 3 daughters and 3 granddaughters that he is very, very proud of. And he was very happy to share what we're doing over at the Women Who CNC with Vectric. And so the Women Who CNC and our group of women are could be possibly partners with Vectric in something coming in the future. So he kind of put that out there for me, and I was so absolutely touched, and I read this letter and my jaw was just hanging on the floor and my eyes were watering, and I'm like, thank you for that support, thank you for just being a huge cheerleader for me, for what we're doing, because I just love having that support. And he wanted me to tell y'all hi tonight. He's actually got something going on over on his channel tonight for his subscribers that subscribe to his channel. So if you haven't checked out Mark Lindsay's channel, go over, go learn from him. He and Garrett are like the two masters with Vectric. So I mean,
outside of
I
Kyle,
don't know. Maybe I'm just like feeling like this sickness. Maybe it's the new year. I'm just a little like, extra tonight. I don't know, but I just wanted to say thank you to Mark for doing that to me. I mean, he knows I've sent him. We've been chatting it up and sending emails back and forth, but I was just so incredibly thankful for the opportunity to serve the women who do CNC, because it is kind of like a small niche group of us. Like there are like thousands of CNCers, but we are almost at 400 women who CNC. And like sometimes I take a step back and I'm like, 400 isn't a lot of people, but if I had 400 people in my shop, 400 women like saying, "Hey, Kate, teach me how to do this," it gets to be a lot.
Yeah, when you look at it from that perspective, it's like, okay, there are a lot of people already. And it's persistence, just persistence.
Yeah.
You will become a force to be reckoned with in the world of women in crafting, especially when it comes to technology. Just keep
Yeah.
going.
Sorry, I know. Total sidebar, y'all. I had to put that out there because Mark just wanted me to give y'all some love tonight and say he's sorry he's not here chatting it up with us, but he's got some stuff going on his channel and his obligations tonight. So.
Okay,
All
speaking
right.
of chatting it up, I think we've been chatting it up a lot, and we got 22 questions sitting out there. You got a couple more minutes to get your questions in, and then we cut them off because we just, Anyway, so 9 o'clock cut off. Let's get another question.
All right, here we go. This is from Lester. Question, Garrett, if you have input on your phone app, how about a stop button to stop cutting? Maybe like an e-stop button?
So we're talking about the IDC Woodcraft phone app for your phone, and that's where you have all the router bit data, the feeds and speeds. It's right on your phone. If you don't have it, it's free. You go to your app store, either Apple or Android. The links are down below in the description of this video, and just download it. Right, but I don't have an app that runs your machine.
Yeah.
The G Center app, you can run your machine.
There you go.
Yeah.
Maybe that's helpful.
My app does not integrate with machines at all.
All right.
So,
All
okay.
right. Oh, I'm sorry. Go right ahead. I saw you pop something in there.
STL Woodworking has contributed. Keep up
Wow.
with we love the CNC. $50 from STL Woodworking. Thank you, brother or sister.
STL.
It's a picture of a brother. Okay.
Yes.
Picture of a guy.
Thank you, STL Woodworking.
We love the CNC. I just thought of this, what I think I want to be the new IDC Woodcraft slogan. I'm going to pass it by my team, but I think I just want this: be creative.
Mm-hmm.
Something I can end the videos up with. I'm Garrett from IDC Woodcraft. Be creative. I don't know. What do you think?
It is. I like it. It's catchy. It's simple. It says a lot without saying a lot, if you will.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you again, STL Woodwork. That's very, very generous of you. So thank you so much. We appreciate that. Oh, goodness. Well, looks like Dave Hinckley has a super sticker of $20. Thank you, Steve. Steve, I'm so sorry. Dave. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Dave. We very much appreciate you. Very much.
It all just tells us that we're doing the right stuff. right? This
Yeah.
is the way you tell us we're doing the right stuff. You support the hour, that hour and a half, 2 hours we take out to spend here. Because as entrepreneurs, we are very busy. We are very busy. You can spend, anybody who spend a day with me, they will know. They will know how much goes on in our world. It's
Yes.
nonstop.
Amen to that. All
Thank
right,
you,
so
Dave.
let's pop in a couple questions here. So we have Jim. A quick question. I'm trying to do a house sign with numbers with a shamrock. So Jim, we may have to circle back to you, brother. I'm not sure exactly what you're
Yeah.
what you're
Is there
doing.
more
Not
to
sure.
that, Julianne? Did you catch? Is there more to that? No? Okay.
No. All right.
Yeah.
Well, Jim, if you're still with us, if you want to put a comment in, we'll have Julian watch for that, and we'll see if we can't help you out. All right. So, Wandering Star, question: What would your suggestion? Pardon me. What would your suggestions about using a UPS power supply? Just a few seconds, the project could continue, but after 5 minutes, you would be able to do a soft stop to save a restart later.
I don't know what a UPS power supply is, but I'm assuming that's a backup power supply, battery operated power supply if the power goes out. It's a lot of money to spend on something that doesn't happen that often. So personally, I wouldn't buy it for me, but it's not a bad idea if you want it.
Yeah.
There are applications out there, and some of your CNC software will detect where it stopped at.
There you
Right. And I think G Sender now has that feature. I'll have to take a look at that because I think they told me they added that feature to it.
go. Okay. Yeah. I think that might be a really good video too, because that has been something that just recently came up in one of my one-on-ones was talking about G-Sender, and they wanted to know how to use it. And I unfortunately don't have that experience because I don't use G-Sender. So that might be a good video for you to create as well about, how to use it, what it does, all the good stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot to G Sender. From what you see on the screen, there's so much in the background. There's so many things you can do with it outside of just the basic controls that are, on the main screen. So maybe you're right. I should.
Yeah, somebody that knows what's going on, and I was just like, I'll see what I can find out, but it seems very in depth from what little research I have started to do on my
Actually,
own.
this brings up a point of most of the CNC machines. There are very few videos on the controls of any of the machines, whether you're using Mach 3 or you have the Shark or the Onefinity. There's no complete walkthrough tutorials. Kate, there you go, sister.
There we go. I'm writing it down. I wrote G-Sender for you, and I'm going to do walkthrough for me.
Yeah, I'm doing a round over bit first. That is, I've been asked about that so many times. It's time to do that. Then I'm doing the spindle change. I'm upgrading, getting rid of the Makita, and we're upgrading to a PWN CNC.
I know. I'm excited. That's
Yes.
very excited for that as well. Okay, so, oh goodness, we've got Brian Neighbor. I always remember his picture because he has that beautiful yellow lab. He's so pretty. I have a black lab. But thank you, Brian. We appreciate you, brother, very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. All right. So up next we have
just real quick, Jack in the shop mentioned
sure.
that he couldn't post a link. So Julianne, Jack, send the link to me. Or send the link to me and then I'll get it. And we'll get that publicized for you.
Okay. So Dave is asking, I have a hog, but what is the difference between the hog and the beast?
Okay, because I get that question so much, I am simply going to link a web page to it because I wrote an article that explains this. And it'll walk you through everything about the hog and the beast and roughing bits all the way around. So I'm going to put a link in the description and you can open up that web page, and after we're done, you can read that and that'll explain everything.
Perfect. All right. So up next is a great question from Tim. says, can you update your tool database in Vectric, or do you have to re-download the whole thing?
So, so you have to re-download the whole thing, but the instructions that come with it in the video, the way that you do it, when you update it, it will not it won't overwrite anything you already have in there. It will just add like new bits to it.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I actually had the same question because you are continually coming out with new bits, and I'm like, do I need to delete the database and then just re-download the whole thing?
Yeah, we got the Badger, right? So the database has been updated. I didn't make that announcement. That's one of the little check boxes I keep forgetting to do. So just go to the website, download the database, and unzip the file. Read the instructions. It's going to take you to a video, tell you exactly what to do. It's very, very easy.
Okay.
Right? It'll update the database, and you won't lose the stuff that you have.
Got it. All right. Very cool. So up next we have Raymond. Any advice on what bits to use for cutting Kingstar board and EVA foam materials? So I know there's a lot of folks out there that have been using a lot of different bits for this. I haven't personally cut any type of foam or like the HDU foam, but I know with it being especially the HDU is more of a plastic type consistency material, or you know what I'm trying to get at. I would suggest using an O-flute if you're looking at using any of that, like the King Color board, stuff like that. I'm assuming, please forgive me if I'm wrong, the King Starboard is similar to that. But as far as EVA foam, maybe some of our brothers and sisters can help out Ray in the comments and let him know what you guys are using. I would anticipate you would want to use upcut bits, you would not want to use any type of a downcut bit. What do you think?
I've never cut foam. I've never set anything up, so I can't really say with that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I do want to, to this whole thing. I don't even know what Kingstar board is. So I have to look that up.
Yeah, I know there's King Color. I think it's King Color board, something like that. But it's HDU. So I'm not sure. Anyway, let's help a brother out. Chat with Ray here in the comments and let him know what your experience is.
Yeah. And I do want to throw in this other comment. Jeremy said, so I need to move to the shared Vectric database. I am working on that this quarter. As a matter of fact, that's going to be a priority for my tech guy. So thank you for reminding me that. I got that on my list of things to do. Julianne, write that down for me, please. So remind me about that. The shared Vectric database.
All right. All right. So this is Ellen. This is a live I need help with, marketing strategies and anything revolving around that. Marketing is huge in business. If you don't know how to market a project, you could just really hurt yourself. So I'll let you. I know you have a lot to say about this, so I'll let you kind of lead off because my throat's getting pretty raw.
Marketing is an aspect of business, right? But it's understanding several things. Number one, this is for those of you who want to get into CNC business, and maybe you're selling a few things, but you want to do something more. You want more steady work. The first thing is you need to know who you're marketing to, right? Who you want to sell your products to. What niche are you in? This niche question becomes a big question when you're first hearing about it, because many people go, what niche do I get in? You start off with something that many people are interested in and have a lot of emotional energy. All right, so the first thing that comes to mind are new moms, pregnant mothers for the first time, there is no limit to what they will spend, and they will show off everything that they have a baby coming. When they get that baby name, carve up a name for a baby. Welcome to the world, whatever the baby's name is, and give it to a friend. Take pictures of it, put it on your Facebook, and make sure the world knows. The best thing to do, here's a really easy tip for you in marketing your products. When you find a niche, find the Facebook groups that cater to those niches and become part of those groups. Don't come out and sell, hey, I got this. Do you want to buy this? I'm selling these. Those are the worst Facebook posts. Nobody wants to be sold to. All right. No. So what you do is take a picture of it, and I gave this to my niece and she loved it. They will come to you. If you do this enough, they will start coming to you. Right? You post on your personal Facebook groups, but you want to get this stuff into Facebook groups. So when us creators, here's a tip for creators. It's great to post your stuff in the CNC groups, right? You're showing off the works that you made and you're really proud of it. That's not going to start your business. You need to get in the Facebook groups that cater to certain niches. It is literally the easiest way to do it because Facebook is free. For those who don't like Facebook or social media, as a business owner, Kate, what would I be telling them?
You must do it. You cannot not do it. It's not an option. You have to get out of your comfort zone, and you have to get comfortable with the uncomfortable. The biggest thing, Ellen, with marketing is pictures. Pictures, 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 pictures. Nobody wants to look at something with a background with all your crap in the background. I remember when I first started my Etsy store like 3-4 years ago, I literally took a piece of birch ply and I ran it through my table saw, really shallow depth, and I made it look like I'm actually sitting here looking at it. This board's been with me through hell and back. But anyway, it looks like a panel board. So it looks like kind of like a bead board. And I would lay that down on my floor. I'd put my product on top of it. I'd get a step stool or like a ladder of some kind, and I'd put my phone in my hand. I'd put like a little mini level on my phone so I knew my pictures were straight. I would get dead on the angle, and then I would zoom in on it. I would take extended pictures. I'd crop pictures. I mean, get creative. Put, like, if it's this Christmas season, put things around it. You can even buy digital mock-ups and then put your product in that picture. But that is literally what is going to sell your product. The prettier it is, the more aesthetic it is, that's what sells. If you go look at something online and you see this really cute sweatshirt that you're wearing and it's on I'm just going to say this, if it's on an ugly model, you're not going to be as inclined to buy it if it's on some like super cute, smiley man or woman smiling at you. It's just more appealing. So pictures and marketing are a lot.
Pictures are huge. You stage your pictures. So if you do a project like a baby sign, right? The best thing to do is have a mom with her baby in the picture hanging the thing up with a smile, right? There's a lot of the picture of your project by itself is half the story, right? I want you to understand this. We have deep psychological aspects to us, and we don't realize it because we're always thinking about what we want instead of about why we want them. Why do people buy? People buy because of emotion. So you have to focus on the emotional triggers. This is what true marketing is all about. Like somebody made the comment about it. They said, it's Chris Gallagher. He said, marketing is about putting an idea out there that they think is their idea, right? It's very similar to that. the idea is to trigger an emotion where they want it. All right. So this is why you need to understand niches. So for those creators who are making a whole bunch of different things to try to get everywhere, what does that do, Kate?
It creates buyer confusion. And then what
Yes.
they do is they wind up buying nothing. And I was even telling Garrett a simple story on Black Friday. I went out with my family. We went to Best Buy. We were looking at a bunch of different stuff, and I saw all of these like JBL speakers, shower speakers, just all of like these little cool little speakers. But there was literally like 3 different price tags, and nothing was marked accordingly. And I was just like, well, I really want this, but like it's Black Friday. I don't have time to go chase somebody down. There's like 3 people in the store anyway working. So I just wound up buying nothing. And I'm like, I'll just maybe buy it online, or I'll find it somewhere else, for a better deal, because you're giving people too many choices, and then they wind up not knowing what they want because you've put them in this situation of, I don't really know what I want anymore.
Yeah.
So
Hold
when
on.
you make a very
Hold on, Kate.
clear,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hang on, I'm going to interrupt you. Julianne, I made a comment in the background. Bump that person, please. So, just because there's unacceptable comments on the channel from a person, and that is unacceptable for me. So we get the person off, and all their stuff gets eliminated.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right.
Sorry, Kate. Go ahead.
No, not at all. Well, on that note, I think we've probably elaborated quite a bit on,
Yeah.
as you guys can tell, Garrett and I are very passionate about CNC business. We love to teach, we love to talk business, we love to, do all the things. So, all right, let's jump back into some questions. I know you guys are antsy to get some questions answered, so let's do what we're here for and show up for you guys to get some of these questions answered. All right, so Dan, hello, Dan. He is asking us a question. I want to cut a nearly circular piece into a proper circle. Is there a spiral toolpath in VCarve that will do this, or should I just do a series of concentric circles? So I am thinking spiral toolpath. The only place I can think to do not necessarily a spiral toolpath, it's like ramp, leads, and then you have like smooth, spiral, and like zigzag. I believe those are like your only 3 options. Like,
Yeah. Okay. No, I would. Yeah. If you're using the Vectric software, I would use the spiral ramp.
that's what I was thinking, but I'm not sure
Yeah.
how big the circle is. I'm not sure if you're using like a drilling operation, or I'm not really sure. So
Yeah. Is there a spiral toolpath in VCarve that will do this, or should I just a series of concentric circles? So the problem with the concentric circles, if Kate and I are interpreting this right, you come in, you do a straight plunge, you do a circle, and it comes back, it does a straight plunge, does a little bit more deeper, and what that does is it leaves a tool mark. And that's that little gouge that you see. That's the tool relaxing for a moment because there's router tool deflection. I like to use the spiral ramp method. I'll bring that up.
yeah,
Let's see. Which one do I want to bring up?
I believe it's under pocketing.
Yeah, I'm just thinking which job I want to bring up. Is this it?
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah. So I am making that. I am going to make the roundover bit with this right here. This was using the gear gadget. I just whipped up a gear. But under profile, the profile toolpath, there is ramp options. Now, if you don't see this full length menu here, then you need to check the checkbox at the top where it says show advanced toolpath options. And that will bring up this particular menu here, and I think the one above it too. Add tabs. Under ramps, you want to add a ramp and select spiral, and that will spiral from the start all the way down in. The thing you have to do though is change the plunge rate for that router bit from the plunge to the feed rate. In other words, you need to go in and edit the router bit and take the plunge rate, make the feed rate the plunge rate, because that ramp is that ramping is always done with the plunge rate, which is whatever's set in that other box. But you want to continue to cut all the way around in one at the regular router bit speed. So you need to go in and edit that tool in the tool path. Did I make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I know some of these questions we can get off into the weeds a little bit. So yes, thank you for bringing that up and visually representing, giving us that show. All right, let's see. Up next, we have Gary. Boy, I am not with it with the names tonight. Jerry.
Hey, Jerry, who gave us donated earlier.
Yes.
I believe.
I do not know why I go out of my way to protect my spoil board by using 3/4 inch slats between the project and spoil board. Am I the only one who goes out of their way to protect their spoil board? I do not think you are alone, my friend. I don't. I'm personally not one of those people. It's a spoil board. It's literally spoil board. Like it's there to be spoiled.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, we all appreciate it. We don't want to ruin stuff. But the whole point of the spoil board, I would worry less about your spoil board, more about your projects. All right. Putting 3/4 slats underneath it. Put a thin piece of Luan underneath it and spoil that. All right. But,
yeah. I feel like if you're adding something underneath it, it could
start to complicate your project. It could start to throw the
yeah, I mean, that's like why we surface our spoil board, so then that surface is completely level. Like, so I guess if you've surfaced those 3/4 inch blocks and you know that they're level, I don't know. I just feel like that might give you undesirable results sometimes. But if it's working for you, Jerry, you do you, brother. I mean, like we were talking about earlier, there's a million ways to do different things, and if it's working for you, get it.
Right.
All right. So we have, I have not seen this gentleman before, so very able. I've just acquired a Shapeoko XXL3 and found out that the spindle was running out about 0.020. I already ordered a new one, but is that common?
That's pretty far run out. That's pretty heavy run out. If you got a new one, then that should have been, addressed with them. Sometimes, so here's one of the things I forgot to mention this last time. Julianne, bring my phone back in. So we have the muscle chuck right there, and some people have gotten that, and I'm waiting for more inventory in on it, and but some people are having shaking from the muscle chuck, and I don't have any of that. And what I did was I made sure that I cleaned up inside of that taper in the spindle before I inserted the muscle chuck. So that's one thing that can be causing a run out is having that debris. All right, Julianne, you can turn it off. So if you have any debris up in the spindle, but a 0.2 run out is pretty heavy. Hopefully they've replaced it for you.
All right. All right.
I'm going to say, for those of you waiting for products from IDC Woodcraft, we're out of stock of the hog. We're out of stock of the muscle chuck. Go to that product page. On that page is a button that says, email me when it's back in stock. And then you'll be notified as soon as the inventory is reset. Okay, go ahead.
All right, no problem. So Rich says, Garrett, are you getting more are you going to get into more 3D work?
Not a whole lot at this point. I've
Okay.
created several basic videos on 3D. But you can email suggestions to me if there's something. Here's the way I make videos, and the way I tell Kate to make videos is, what does the market keep asking for? And then if people keep asking for the same thing over and over and over again, then that's really worthy of a video, because that's something where people are struggling with. The information's not out there. I've created several 3D videos, and I will probably leave it at that. I'll probably do one more. But I do have some business aspects that I'm going to be working on that's going to be taking me away from some of that stuff.
Yeah, you've got a lot of irons in the fire.
Sister, you have no idea. Well, actually, you do. You know most of it.
Yeah, you have quite a few. And honestly,
Yeah.
I'm very, very, I know, without sounding condescending, I'm very proud of you for all of the growth that I have seen in you just personally since I met you. Like, it's just phenomenal. 100,000%. So,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah. Oh, I want to say something. This thought came to me earlier about business, and it's one thing that many people don't do when they just don't think about it. And it's what Kate did. Is they don't ask those who have been down the road, help me. How do I get there? Right? Most people don't ask. Right? So when you know somebody's out there that's able to do the stuff that you want to do, go ask. Just ask them.
Yeah. I mean, what's the worst they're going to say? No, I can't help you. I don't have the time.
Yeah.
Most people I've met in this community, I've reached out to them on Instagram, usually like through the direct messages, and like 9 out of 10 of them have responded and said, "Hey, what's up? Yeah, I'd love to chat. Like, what's your question? How can I help you?" Like, most of them are just like normal people like me and you. I mean, yeah, we do this YouTube thing, but like, we're just regular people at the end of the day, and we're just looking to help people and, do this. And,
Of course,
it's just not everybody.
only one person. Yeah. We are only one person.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hopefully one day I will have a full team like you do. That would be incredible. But for now, it's just me.
Which I'm getting ready to expand again.
Oh, gosh. All right. Well, we will have to catch up after this, but let's knock out some of these questions.
Okay.
So it looks like Jay. I have some chipping with my carves after 5 to 6 simple text carves, all with the same wood and settings. I'm told that my bit is already dull from seller and that this is expected. Is this normal?
Okay, that's coming to me.
Yeah, you're gonna have to. I mean, I don't know that you're
No,
the
I had a burp I
manufacturer.
was trying to hold down, so didn't want to burp into the microphone. Okay. After 5 or 6 carves, that tool should not be dull. Now, if it's black, if you have black on your tool already, if it's gotten dark, then it has gotten heated up and probably is getting dull. Right. So the first thing to see, if the tool is black, then it's overheated, your feeds are too slow, or your spindle speed's too high. Right. After 5 or 6 simple carves, your bit should not be dull. It shouldn't be dull. Unless it's getting overheated, or it is working through stuff it's not designed to work through.
Yeah. I still have some of my bits that I bought from you 2 years ago. And really, it's just you need to clean them up. You need to get that like a pitch remover. Like I have just like some blade and bit remover, and just clean them up. It takes 2 seconds. I just keep like a towel, change them out, spray a little stuff on them, change my bit, clean them up, done. Takes just really good habits.
Yeah, chipping can cause that. Also, the type of wood can cause it too. The wood to router bit can cause that, meaning the geometry of the router bit based on the type of wood.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
absolutely.
We'll have to see what your settings are, and then we'll we can work on it from there. Go ahead. Okay, Kate. We got
Yeah.
18 questions and we're almost at 9:30.
All right. So Jim says, have you gotten your spindle on your long mill? I believe we addressed this one earlier.
We just looked at that, and that is the next thing after I do this roundover pit video. Then I'll get that on there. I literally have had it for 6 weeks. I've had the spindle for 6 weeks. Busy guy.
I know it. All right. So we have another question here from Dan. Do I need to have a long mill to use their touch plate, or will it work with other machines as long as I'm using G-Sender?
Do I need to have a long mill to use their touch plate? So with the G sender, there's multiple settings. You can have a touch plate puck, right? And a puck is just there's two types of touch plates. Well, three now, but you got your corner touch plate like that, and then you have your puck touch plate. And so let me just refine this question. It will work with other machines. Yeah, as long as your software, your control software, has the probing feature in it, you have to know what it's got, whether it's just for the puck or if it's going to capture the top and the two sides. Am I answering that question? Do I need to have a long mill?
So.
No. Okay, no. You don't necessarily need to have a long mill to use their touch plate. You can't use the other touch plate. I'll forget it. I can't remember the name of it. Crud. We got another touch plate that's I can't remember what it is.
Is it long mill specific?
Yes, it is long mill specific. It's G-Sender specific.
Okay. All right.
So if you have another CNC brand that's using the G-Sender, you can use any of the touch plates that long mill has.
Okay. All right. So let's see. Are you grabbing something or?
No, I was looking for it, but let's move on.
Okay.
I think I answered the question.
All right. Hey, Eric says, with a compression bit, do you use an aggressive step down? I think he's maybe thinking step over, like half of the thickness, or do you do a step over like 1/4 of an inch?
He's talking about a step down. So I think he's talking about getting in there fast because it's got the upcut part of it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm taking from this question.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't heard the term step down used before, so sorry about that, Eric. My bad on the confusion. So I'll let you tackle that question then, because.
Well, I'm assuming the aggressive step down you're talking about is to avoid the little bit of tear out that you're going to get in it if you're spiraling into it or something like that. You want to get, if you're going to use the compression, you want that first cut to be below the upcut part of the end mill. All right. So generally you want to use a lead in when you can. Aggressive step down I don't really like to do because that can actually mash those chips and actually kick them up and make it worse. Does that make sense?
Yeah, as far as like,
go ahead.
Like half the thickness, or do you step down in like 1/4 of an inch? Well, because the compression bit, as far as like the cutting area on it, is it 3/4 of an inch? Is it half an inch? I don't remember like the.
So the compression I have is 0.12, if I remember right, is the upcut part of it. So you need to step down at least that point. I would go 0.15. That's the minimum you really want to do, where you're getting the effect of the down cutter. Now they do crisscross around the spiral.
Okay.
And so you're getting down cut and up cut at a little point in that bit.
Yeah, I was looking at the 3/16 compression that you have, and I was trying to think. I normally go. So you've got about 1.5 inches as far as from like flute to like the end of the bit. So, I mean, yeah, you can definitely carve in past that 1/4 of an inch, because that first section on the actual bit is your upcut portion. And so, well, you want to like here, you want to dive in past the portion of the upcut. So it really depends on what type of material you're working with also.
Right.
I mean,
Right. Well,
the
my
compression,
bits, the 3/16 compression and the 1/4 inch bit, you can cut one pass at 3/4 of an inch. I don't promote that, but that's what you can do. They can get up to that. So if you can go down all the way, your machine's rigid enough. Just do full depth.
okay. So do you know like what type of, I mean, can you do that hardwood, or are we talking like what
Yeah,
type of,
you can do it in hardwood. You can do it with plywood. When you're hardwood, you want to keep your feeds down. I would in hardwoods on a bench top. Well, let's put it this way: on the Phantom over there, I can run the 3/16 at 240 inches per minute, full depth of 3/4 of an inch.
holy crap. Yeah, you would not want to do that with a benchtop CNC. You would be
No.
crying because you would like wreck your machine.
Right. But if you're going at 100, if you're going at 80, maybe 80 inches per minute, you can do full depth.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go, Eric. Hopefully that was helpful. I really like using the compression bits, and I know it's going to sound kind of goofy, but when I'm like cutting out like baby names or stuff like that, I love to use that compression end mill because I can dive, 1/2 inch down into the material, that I get a really nice smooth finish on the top. I get a nice smooth finish on the bottom. Very, very minimal sanding. So I like using the compression end mills, but I've never personally done it on hardwood at 3/4 of an inch. But hey, might add it to my 2024 list of things to do. So,
All right.
all right. Let's see. So Brian is saying, I'm having an issue with my long mill M2K stopping in the middle of a carve. G-Sender doesn't lose its home position. So to me, it seems like I am somehow overloading the longboard. I have the IoT relay.
That's a question to take the long mill. I don't know what's happening there. I've had that problem in the early days with my long mill. It happened to me, I think, twice, and I never really resolved it. It might have been where it just quit, and it might have been from a surge or something. I don't know.
Okay.
But communicate with Longbill and send them an email. Be as give them as much information as you can, so they can try to troubleshoot it.
Yeah. You think maybe there might be like some static or?
Well, another thing would be one problem I had was a wire was loose in one of the connectors.
I've heard that quite a bit.
Yeah.
All right. So Samuel's asking, the Badger bit is it on the IDC Woodcraft tool database now?
Yes, it is. Okay, for those of you who have joined in late and aren't aware, you should be aware that IDC Woodcraft just released a new router bit on Monday, and I released this. I came up with this because so many people asked me for it. It's like the Hog and the Beast, and it's called the Badger, right? And it's a 1/8 roughing bit. Right now, up until the end of tomorrow, if you haven't gotten one, till the end of tomorrow, if you get one, you'll get 50 free files. You can get everything else that you want, but you'll get 50 free files with it, design files. But
that's pretty good.
Answer to this question is yes. The IDC Woodcraft database is updated for the Badger.
All right. Very cool. All right. So Mark Green is asking, is there a list of things to check if you keep losing signal from computer? I can't isolate the problem. Is there like a top 10 to check?
Beyond me, brother. I'm not the technical guy. I know how to run the machines, but when it comes to that kind of stuff, but maybe worthy of looking into. But I would definitely contact Longmill. Right.
All
That's
right.
if we have a brand, if we have a new machine, or even not so new, and we bought it from the company. It's one of the reasons I recommend Long Mill. You got the support there; they will take care of you.
Yep, absolutely.
Right.
All right. So Rich is asking Garrett, seriously, if I break a bit, you will replace it.
Go to my website and read the FAQs. For 90 days, if you break your bit, I will replace it. No questions asked. You have to mail the bit back to me because I want to make sure it's our bit, but I also want to know why it broke, right? So many times people will say, well, I broke the bit, Garrett. It was totally my fault. Our questions, you have a 90-day guarantee. I will replace your bit. Okay. My job, it's just price of business. People that keep doing it, if they keep like abuse it, then they get cut off from the guarantee.
All
But
right.
seriously, yes, I will replace your bid. 90 days.
All right. So let's
You need to
see.
go. You need to go to the website and fill out the form on the guarantee page.
There you go. All right. Gary Lynn, I love his question with his exclamation points. He wants us to know. I love that. Thank you, Gary. It makes it easy for us to identify you have a question. When I V-carve, I always get a little ridge in the very bottom of the valley. I think I have tried everything. I just used my hand carving gouge to remove it. So there's a possibility you're you're not.
Could be the step over. Step over for a V bit should be like 2%. You'll have two fields, 20% and 2%. And
Okay.
that field should be like 2%.
All right.
And that
Yep.
should
I was
solve.
thinking maybe just too shallow of a flat depth sometimes. You know, it also depends on what you're carving as well. Pine is notorious. Any type of softwood is notorious for leaving that. And that's why we all like recommend like those little spiral head disc sanders, you know, things like that. Like you were saying, you can use your gouge, whatever, you know, those are just things we all just kind of run into, unfortunately.
Yep.
So
Check
all
the
right.
point on your bit too.
Yes, make sure it's not chipped. I've had that happen to me before, and I'm like, oh well, that's nice. It was chipped. Now I understand why there's an issue. All right. Cherokee Vapor says, question. Have either of you used HDPE color core? That's what we were referring to earlier in any of your projects, or would you in the future? Yes, Cherokee Vapor. I would love to use some HDPE color core. I actually want to try it, and I want to try like adding some texture to the background because I really want to see
Oh, that'd be kind of cool.
how well, yeah, I want to see how well it does, because I was actually looking into maybe doing a sign for like outside for like people that come and like pick up their projects, so I can like put it on the outside of my barn because I have 2 doors, so they know like where to go when they're picking their stuff up. So, but I want to do like some texture in the background. I've seen some people do it, and it looks pretty cool, but that could definitely be a project to do. So, Cherokee Vapor, I will keep you in the loop when I do that. All right.
That color core would be such a great video. I think I just need to buy some of that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I have a
Look
website.
at Julianne. She's going, yeah, you got to do that. Write a note, Julianne.
Color
Liberty's going to
core.
love me for this because I'm going to have her mess with that.
All right. So Joseph is
I
asking
can see her now. She's back to go, oh, yeah.
I love her. She's the color girl.
Yeah.
All right. So Joseph says, what font script would you recommend if you're going to write a recipe on a board? Oh, gosh. Well, let me see. I have a recipe board right here. I actually messed up. But this is like an Arial font, and this was actually done with my laser that I use, but this is the font that I like. I like to keep the fonts more of an Arial font, something that's very easy to read. You don't want, unless it's like a handwritten script that you're trying to trace. By the way, this is kind of what it looks like. But anywho, I would stick with just a standard Arial font, keep it very clean, keep it very neat. Recipes, sometimes like this one has a lot on it. So when you use a script or a cursive type of font, it almost makes the recipe too noisy. And then it just doesn't, like, the flow of the project just kind of feels off unless
and
it's like that authentic handwriting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it
And
almost
remember,
feels like fake.
Yeah, and they don't teach cursive anymore.
No.
So come another 50 years, they'll look at it and they won't be able to read it.
That's true too. Unfortunately, I hate that. But that we always joke, that's like a running joke in our family. We're like, we'll just take over the world. We'll just use the mail system with a stamp and an address and a return, and we'll just write everything in cursive, and we can just take over the world.
Totally.
They don't know how to do these basic things. Kills me. All right. So Joseph, I hope that helps you. Let's see. Jim is asking, does anyone out there incorporate 3D printing with your business? I know there are several people that do. Jim B, Sam Coleman. I think he's over on Facebook as well and on Instagram, but Sam does a lot with 3D printing, so go check him out. He's a great resource. He's an awesome guy. He's actually in Canada, so check his stuff out.
I think Jack in the Shop does that too.
Yeah.
There's a quick question that someone asked later on. It says, how do you get your place, do your XYZ on a piece of round stock? I did a video on that. So that answer, Julianne, if you find that, throw that in the description if you find it.
Okay.
We can cover that one next week. We'll cover that next week. Go ahead, Kate.
Yes. All right, let's see. Johnny says, new user, what's the best way to learn fast? Oh, sweet friend. Oh, sweet friend. Okay. With all the patience in the world, you have to take it one day at a time. CNCing is a journey. It's not a race. You have to really take your time. So as Johnny, welcome to the family of CNC. I'm telling you what, my names tonight are.
Yeah.
Garrett and I are big advocates of Kyle Eli over at learnyourcnc.com. There's links in the descriptions. He has a complete course from A to Z on all the way from the very basics, beginnings of Vectric, all the way to like advanced rotary. So if you want to like really immerse yourself and learn everything that you can about Vectric, that's probably going to be the best way for you to go about doing it. If you have particular projects and you're just like, I cannot get through this project, or you need some one-on-one guidance, I do that. There's links for that below. I'm Kate. I'm more than happy to help you with that, but learning fast is unfortunately just not something that you can do in the CNC world. It takes a lot of time, and you may make a few fires in the meantime. But
learning fast is the way to make mistakes. As they say in business, when I hear people say, what's the fastest way to make $100,000? I'll say is to take the word fast out of it. And I'll say that here. Take the word fast out of the question.
Yep, absolutely.
What's the best way to learn? What's the best way to learn is a much better question. Yeah.
Yes.
You can't. Yeah, fast is going to lead you to train wrecks. There's too much to know, like Kate said.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we've all been there. We've all wanted to learn like this, and that's 90% of when we go, crap. I didn't take the time. By the way, Garrett has a really great checklist. Go check that on his website. That will help you get started as well, and things to check off before you make critical mistakes that you can't recover from.
Yeah.
So, all right. So Joseph has a question here. He says, hey, Garrett, do you recommend a good way to set up to cut vertical dovetails on the CNC?
I have not done dovetails in the CNC. I would suggest going. I don't have a good way, but I don't have a good way because I haven't made it. But I know that some people have. I think Jack in the shop actually did it on his machine. I know somebody did. They cut a thing. They cut a plate. They mounted it vertical, and then they were able to set up that way. Cut a slot in your machine, in your spoil board, enough where you can get whatever you want to get up in there.
All right. I know I've seen Tools Today on YouTube. They have a pretty cool channel. They have a lot of really unique vertical clamping methods, things like that. So you might check them out too. All right. So let's see. Raven says, question, I had a hog, but the beast ate it. Now all I'm left with is the little badger. Oh no. I'm so sorry, Raven. I'm interested to know what you did that your beast ate your hog.
Yeah.
Those are some hard bits to kill. So I am genuinely interested in what happened there. So, oh goodness. All right. And I think our last question of the evening is from Gary Lynn. Hello, Gary. Kate, did you have any issues changing from a trim router to a spindle, like using M codes and G codes to control the spindle? No, the only thing I actually had to learn that was different from converting from a router to a spindle was hertz. I had to learn how to convert it over from RPMs to hertz, which didn't exactly carry over. So yeah, that's been a little bit of a learning adjustment, but I'm really looking into the PWN spindle because I feel like it's the best bang for your buck, and you're really going to get, you get what you pay for. So mine was just like a little cheap Chinese router or spindle, and I was not that impressed with it. So I've actually got to reach out to the manufacturer. So for now, I actually took that off because I wasn't liking how it was running, and I put my trim router back on because it does a better job. So like I said, I've got some serious upgrades I want to do for my machine this year. Big lofty goals. So for now, I'm going to stick with my tried and true, my Makita. And if I burn that one up or something happens to it, then I guess I've got a spindle as a backup, and I'll use that. So no, Gary, yeah. I'm sorry I wasn't able to help you a little bit more, brother.
Yeah, I put a link in the description to PWN. So PWN has plug-and-play spindles for the benchtop machines. Onefinity, for the long mill, for Shipoko, and so you don't have to do all the technical stuff. You can just get it and follow the instructions. Within an hour, you'll have a spindle up and running on your machine. In most cases. Yeah. So the link is in the description. Go check them out. I can't wait. Yeah. This thing is my second router, and it's already complaining.
Really?
Yeah. It's I'm expecting it to go out shortly. I should just make it go out. I don't know. I'm going to replace it anyway, but the bearings are going bad on this one.
Ugh, that's the worst. I know you can replace them, but you've got that spindle just sitting there, just going.
That spindle. It's going to get installed. Put it on, Carol.
Y'all, he's going to make me come down there. I'm just going to have to drive down there and be like, all right, where's the spindle? We're just going to set this baby up. We're going to see how plug and play this thing really is. So who knows? Who knows, y'all? All right, we are at an hour and 50 minutes. I think we are going to sign off. It has been an awesome CNC.
We do have a super sticker here. Wait a minute. We got a super sticker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
So last minute super sticker here from Brian.
Okay.
Or was that from before?
I think
that was from before. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Well, thanks again. Thanks anyway. Thanks again, Brian.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you
you
for the
all.
contributions. I'm going to bring Julianne out so she can say goodnight. Liberty's somewhere in the background. She's watching on her phone.
And say
I just
her and I have
need to.
been chatting about the color core and how you're going to buy lots of it so we can make lots of things.
Oh,
Yeah. It's pretty cool. There's a lot of different options. It's neat because it's like you can have a red exterior, a white interior, red, and then like a blue. I mean, oh my gosh, I could just see Liberty just having a field day with that stuff.
Now Garrett's
So
going to buy it. Now we're going to make stuff. We'll have our own Etsy store.
the,
oh,
IDC
okay.
Girls store. We'll work with that.
Nice. Nice. I love it.
No,
You
but
got your
it's
work cut
been
out for you
great.
there, sir.
yeah.
Oh
I've got to
man.
keep these
All
girls
right.
at bay. Yeah, right.
Well, thank
All
you
right.
everyone for hanging out with us again. And thank you for chatting with us about CNC business. I know this was a little bit different, uh, but it's good to talk business because there are a lot of folks out there who really do want that business guidance, um, just to learn about how to run a business. What are the right ways to do? What are the wrong things to do? And I will tell you, that's what helped me launch my business from where I was a couple of years ago to where I am now. So, the mentoring really does make a difference if you're interested in, signing up for a course that Garrett's going to make about the coaching and the mentoring. It's 100% worth it because if that's where you want to go and you see yourself struggling right now and not knowing what to do, might be worth something looking into. So, thank you again for hanging out with us. And I don't know, Gary, you want to sign us off?
Yeah, brothers and sisters, have a great evening. Rest of the week. We'll see you next week, and be creative. Yes, I used my new tagline.